Today on Awakening with Amy, we're going to talk about how to get out of confusion and into clarity when you're manifesting and creating your desires. So, welcome. I'm Amy Valentine, here to help awaken within you your ideal life so you can be, do, and have any desire. We're talking about how to go from non-fulfillment today to fulfillment, manifesting made simple today, because you know what? I am over complex, I am over difficulty, and I'm into the ease. And it's all happening right now for all of us. So let's start over. It's almost the new year, but we're going to start over today with this one idea. And I really intend that this will change everything for you, this one idea. And what is this one idea? That everything in your life, everything is just a story. It's all made up. It's all the appearances. And what is behind the appearances is the truth of being, that unseen you, that inner being, as Abraham Hicks calls it, that eternal, changeless you. You're here in a physical body to create a story. Why? To have an experience. So how you get out of a rut, how you get out of confusion and into clarity is to understand that everything is just a choice. Nothing has intrinsic meaning. It's just a story. So there's no difficult situations. There's only a story or a belief in difficulty. There's no confusion. There's no source of confusion unless you create a story. I am confused, or I am not clear. I don't know what to do, right? This is key. I discovered within myself there was a hidden payoff that a lot of us have, a hidden payoff to non-fulfillment. And what is that hidden payoff? Is that, what if I'm wrong? What if I create everything that I want, not just some things, What if I create my everything, my entire life, my dreams, and I lose it? What if I'm wrong? So I might as well just listen to that story of limitation, because what if I go all in and make a firm decision that, no, I am every reality, I am fulfillment? Well, what if I'm wrong about that? Well, where does that come from? Because that doesn't even feel right. It feels off. Why? Because it is off. Because where does that come from? It comes from the voice of the ego. The ego is who we think we are. And when that's who we think we are, we let that voice tell our story. And sometimes we're fulfilled and sometimes we're not, because we're looking out there for the proof and evidence. The hidden payoff for me was that I like a good challenge. That was my story. That ease can't manifest my reality, that it has to have some kind of difficulty in there. Well, I've let that go. I'm here to tell you, you can just, I don't know, when it clicks in, it just clicks in. I'm letting that go. That why? And what changed it for me was that it's just a story. I don't have to overcome it. I don't have to fix it. It's just a story, and it's created by the ego. And what is the ego other than a thought of separation? And it's necessary. We need the ego. If we didn't have an ego, if we didn't create it, it's not even something we have. We create the ego. We need that story of the ego. Why? To focus. It's like Bashar calls the ego the physical mind. The physical mind has only one job: to focus. Otherwise, we'd be all over the place. We'd be everywhere, and we literally are everywhere all at once, but we wouldn't be able to focus in on one thing that we desire or one aspect of creation without the ego. So we have to make that choice to embrace the ego, not try to fight it, not listen to it as our truth, right? So understand there are no challenges that are necessary unless you believe that you need a challenge. And what does that come from? That I have to prove my worthiness. I have to work hard for my money. I have to earn my way. I have to do things. I have to, learn more. I have to read more. No, it's already done. It's already yours when you claim that story, that identity. What story? The story of fulfillment is about wholeness, about completion, that knowing that you're never separate from anything, that when you listen to the ego instead of understand the ego, that's when you get confused. When you buy into the voice of the ego, which is separating you from all your desires, from love and fulfillment that you already are, you get that back and forth, that hot and cold. Because one minute you know your power, the next minute you're giving your power away to that voice telling you that you're not yet who you want to be. So you better work harder at it. You better create that challenge so you can prove you're worthy. No. Hold on to nothing, like A Course in Miracles says. That's how you manifest your dreams, is to choose, again, understanding that everything is just a story and I get to choose what it all means. So let's read a Neville quote and we'll get a little deeper into the video. If you will assume your desire and live there as though it were true, no power on earth can stop it from becoming a fact. If you will assume your desire, the whole basis of Neville Goddard's law of assumption is there are no facts, that we create the facts. Nothing is final unless we say it's final. You are the operant power. Nobody can create in your reality. You are the only one that creates in your reality. That's your power. That's the firm decision. When you make that firm decision that there's no other power, there is no power in the outside world. There's no power in thinking that it's not here yet. No, it's all within you. It's an unfolding within you. And then it appears without. That's the way it's all set up. Why? Because everything is a projection of your own consciousness. Now and now and now and now. Like Abraham Hicks says, right? It's only ever right now that matters. So when you understand that everything is just a story, then that begs the question, what are you buying into? What are you believing to be true? Confusion, lack, limitation, or, the appearances of not having, or, which is the illusion. It's impossible not to have. It's a total joke. It's the illusion of the ego. Believing that you are that ego, that's not who you are, that's who you think you are, but it's not who you are. Who you really are is that multidimensional being that is all things, all at once, right now. And anything that tells you you're not is just a story of lack and limitation, that you have a choice whether you want to buy into that or not. And why buy into that? Once you know this, right? The ego is the outermost focus of our consciousness. Remember that. Our inner being is our innermost focus of who we really are, that we can be, do, and have any desire. Nothing is off limits unless we create a story that it's off limits. Everything is just a story. Just keep telling yourself that. Who you are, who you really are, your inner being is whole, complete, and perfect right now, is not defined by anything from the so-called past, or it's not trying to become anything better or different to prove to yourself that, I can, I challenge myself, so that means that it must be worthwhile. That was my story. Crazy, right? so many different things. It's just too long to get into the video, but so many different things in my life were pointing to that. And I didn't understand that I was buying into that hidden payoff of a challenge of, oh, I kind of challenge myself. I was like, something just shifted within me when I heard or read, or I don't even remember. It was like the other day that everything's just a story. Why are you buying into the stuff that doesn't make you feel good? That's all it was for me. And I'm like, oh my God, this is not about effort. This is about ease, about going with the flow. It's not about figuring anything out. Figuring something out is a story of confusion. Remember, there are no difficult situations unless you create an idea of difficulty, the story of difficulty. And why would you create that? That's just the ego creating that story. And remember, there's only one job of the ego: to focus. To focus in on something. Otherwise, we'd be all over the place, right? So repeat this, or some version of this. This is what helps me. I create my own reality. There's no other rule. I call the shots. Nobody else. Make it all about you. It's all about the who, and the who is you. Stop making it about them or the desire or what it looks like. Make it about you and who you are now. Not to make it happen, to know it's already done. It's already yours. Like Neville Goddard says, creation is finished. That's why, because it's all within you. All stories within you that you can choose from. Make every choice the right choice. What does Abraham Hicks say? Make a decision and make that decision right. Well, I wasn't doing that. That's why I was getting some things I wanted, and other things I didn't want, because I wasn't making every decision the right decision. Because when you do that, the confusion goes away and the clarity that's already there arises. You just get clear. It's like this inner conviction, right? So and keep repeating that. I create my own reality. There's no other rule. I get to call all the shots. I'm the only one in my reality. Everything else is responding to me. If I don't like a certain situation, no problem. I have no conflict with it. I created it. I can choose again. So it doesn't matter if you react. If something happens out there and you're like, oh, this again? No. Tell yourself, go back to that loop. No, I create my own reality. I get to choose what it all means. I call all the shots. If I don't like this and maybe I don't prefer it, I don't have to judge it as good or bad. I can just use it to choose again. Choose what I prefer. That's it. So there's nothing to fix. There's nothing to overcome. If it feels like you have to fix it or overcome it, remember, you're buying into the ego story of separation, separating yourself from your desire unnecessarily. You don't have to do that to yourself. So stop buying into the I am not voice. I am not yet who I want to be, because the appearances don't show me yet that I am loved or that I am abundant. No. It's all just a story. It's all just made up by you. That's why you're here. That's the epiphany. We're here to create our own reality. That's why we signed up to come into a physical body. So you can change anything with that one idea that everything is just a story and I call all the shots. You keep telling yourself that until it just, it just clicks in. Somehow, when it just clicks, it just clicks. So I am already everything I desire to be. And I get to choose how I tell my story every moment of every day. So remind yourself, everything is just a story. No big deal if I don't like it. I can choose again. That's how you master this manifesting, this creating your own reality in every moment. Own it. Make a firm decision that I am clear. I am clarity itself. I am abundance itself, not because of what the world tells me, but because I know who I am. I am not my ego. That's who I think I am sometimes when I forget my true nature. That inner knowing, that inner being, my soul, that eternal changeless me that came into a physical body to have an experience of change. And that's how we create our own reality, is understanding that the ego is for us, that every choice is the right choice. You come from that state of being, nothing's going to stop you. So let me know in the comments. Any questions? Let me know in the comments how you're doing. Affirm that mantra. I create my own reality. There's no other rule. I get to call all the shots. Nobody else can create my own reality. Just me. I can choose again. If I don't prefer something, I can choose again. So thank you everybody for being here. Thank you so much for subscribing, for commenting, and for liking and sharing the video. And until next week, see you soon.